Hi, welcome to Reddit Tea Time. Here's my dilemma. Do I postpone my wedding and give us a shot to work this out, or do I run for the hills? I'm wondering if I'm completely missing his perspective on all of this. My fiancé, male 40, and I, 30 female, have been together for 9-ish years. A year or two through our relationship, we spent some time apart as I felt he had an inappropriate relationship with a coworker, both realtors. We ended up getting back together, but he continued to sleep with her during the first few months of us trying to work things out. We did work things out. The infidelity isn't as big of an issue for me as it is for other people. I quickly felt trust with him again and things were great. The issue of the affair has rarely come up since we talked through our resolution years ago. 6-ish years later, we got engaged. Almost a year after that, his mistress died. Excuse my cold tone with this, but to me, she's not a good person and I will never see her in that light. I found out she had a fetish for taken men and she played a big role in the end of 4 other marriages. My fiancé went to the funeral and spoke at her parents' request, despite my expressing how hurtful and disrespectful that was in my eyes. In the months following her death, he has participated in fundraising held in honor of this woman. I have continued to express how hurtful and disrespectful I find his involvement in all of this. I'm capable of moving on, and I have, and I've forgiven him for the original affair, but when he keeps doing things that bring it to the forefront of our relationship, I can't help but feel hurt by it. There's a messy history after all. I feel like I've sacrificed so much, sat back and been the one to bend and compromise on everything surrounding her and these situations, and I can't see anything that he's compromised on when it comes to it. All I see is an inappropriate and disrespectful emotional connection to his dead mistress. There was a small fundraising dinner in her honor the other night, and this is where things really hit the fan. I again expressed my feelings on the situation, especially since he didn't tell me until an hour before he was going to leave to attend. He said I need to get over the affair and stop holding it over his head, and I need to figure my stuff out. He wishes I could see his perspective because I wouldn't be upset if I stepped back and saw his side of things. Yet he couldn't articulate his perspective. He also said he was sick of my meritless threats after I said if he's going to continue to have an inappropriate emotional connection with his dead mistress and bring it to the forefront of our lives together, that I couldn't live the rest of my life like that. He said he has the right to honor a good friend and that she always had his back even after he chose me. This has really caught me off guard the past year. I thought there was no connection to her anymore. I also thought that I had a partner that would care enough about my feelings to be willing to change some of their actions. I know I would feel awful if he came to me and said that something I was doing was hurtful to him and he found it disrespectful. I'm getting none of that from him. Now for some comments. Don't marry him. Just break up. He's selfish. He wants you to see his perspective but wants you to get over what is a major situation in your life. Nothing good for you in the future with him. He might even cheat again when or if he ever gets over his mistress. Prioritize yourself. He is not. This is some of the most disrespectful crap I've ever heard in my life, and you have repeatedly communicated that to him very clearly. In response, he told you he doesn't give a damn and that he doesn't think you have the backbone to leave him. Prove him wrong. He cares more about honoring her memory than your reasonable feelings. I'm guessing if you look back on how he emotionally and otherwise supports and cares for you, you'll find out he always puts himself first and does very little for you. That's not the person you want to build a life with. I also think any trust you have in him remaining faithful to you is misplaced. Wow, maybe you should have been more hurt by the affair. Your fiancé sucks. He didn't respect you when he cheated and he doesn't now. He didn't tell you until an hour before he was going to a fundraising dinner for her? And she's a serial homewrecker? That's the woman your fiancé loves. Even when she's dead, she's wrecking your home. Your fiancé sucks. You deserve better. My wife stopped drinking about a year ago. Now she's 5 months pregnant and she questions me about my drinking. Basically, my wife has had a pretty destructive relationship with alcohol since she started drinking, around the time that she was 18. To start this off, my wife is an incredible woman who I have nothing but respect for. We're married and I adore her. She's the most beautiful person I know, intelligent, emotionally available, and she has integrity. But when we met, she used to drink. And when she got drunk enough, she would get emotionally unavailable. She would lash out at me. It would lead to her lashing out against herself and telling me that I don't love her, etc. Afterwards, she would feel enormous guilt and would consider stop drinking. 2 years ago, she stopped, and it's been great. She's 32, I'm 26. We are married and we have a kid on the way. We both long for the kid, and it's something we've been looking forward to. I didn't stop drinking. My grandparents were light alcoholics, and alcohol has been prevalent in my family since I was a teen. I don't get angry, paranoid, violent, or harmful in any way when I drink. I don't drink often, but when I do drink, I do like to get drunk. And that's where our problem lies. She stopped drinking because A, she's pregnant, and B, she can't control herself when she gets too drunk. Eventually, we came up with a system. She tells me when I'm too drunk and that I have to stop. This started off as a great idea, and I stopped drinking whenever she said I'd had one too many. But now she's starting to cut me off after 2 or 3 glasses of wine, and she's starting to berate me about my drinking habits. I can get too drunk but still have my act together, and I can still control myself. I don't lash out at anyone. I can, of course, get remorse from drinking too much, but not to the extent that it damages my relationships. I don't feel as if my drinking has deteriorated in any way since we first met. It mostly feels as if she's looking for ways to cut my drinking habits. And I get that alcohol isn't good for your body, so in the end she's just trying to protect me from a harmful substance. But the way she does it just makes me feel as if she's trying to put blame on me for acting like a normal human being who consumes alcohol. What are your opinions regarding this situation? Now for some comments. I personally would be scared that seeing me drunk would drive my alcoholic spouse to drinking again. I just stopped drinking when my wife was pregnant each time. We were in it together. If she couldn't drink, then I didn't drink. If you're unable to go 7 months without getting drunk, that might be a sign you've got a problem. Needing to get drunk or buzzed when you have a newborn and a recovering wife to care for isn't ideal. The problem is you're trying to assess your drunk behavior through your own drunk eyes. She's sober and seeing you clearly. She sees something she doesn't like. It could be off-putting for her in different ways. Being sober around drunk people can be annoying. Even without bad or harmful behavior, it can be hard to deal with. Something that shocked me to realize when I go out sober is how much even 1 to 3 drinks can affect a person. Whether it's being more relaxed, sillier, louder, repetitive, etc. I would have previously argued 1 to 2 drinks don't do much. It could also be really hard for her to be around while you still imbibe. It could tempt her or be a constant reminder of her problem and why she can't join you. My wife and I met in our early 30s and we've been married for 4 years. She has a daughter from a previous relationship, 21 female, who I consider to be mine. When I met my wife, I didn't have any biological children, and I've always felt that she wanted to give me a biological child more than she wanted it herself. Having a child at 40 was always going to be a challenge. The sleepless nights hit harder, less energy, etc. But I had confidence that we would be okay. Our youngest daughter is going through the terrible twos, and it's a lot. We both love her and she's thriving, but she's having tantrums, biting, and throwing. We had a hard day yesterday, and this morning was particularly bad. My wife let her eat her cereal in the living room, which she then threw on the sofa, then bit my wife when she told her off. I know this is a phase, but the stress is getting to us both. During an outburst a few weeks ago, my wife shouted at our youngest that she regretted having her, and I was taken aback. My wife has a pretty bad temper, but she tries to control it, especially with our younger daughter, but I can see she's reaching the end of her tether. Money is tight, so I'm working 2 jobs to support us, so I'm tired all the time. My wife works 3 days a week at a job she hates, and I know she'd like to be a stay-at-home mom, but we can't afford it. What can I do to help my wife get through this? Now for some comments. I have a job where I work 70+ hours a week, so I can relate to not being around, but my wife and I have always used the tap-out technique. When I can tell she's on the verge of an explosion, I say tap out or vice versa. We're not allowed to have hard feelings about it. It simply means that I'm parenting right now because you need a break and go do something else until the feeling passes. I also try to give her as much time as possible for herself to just decompress. Sometimes she takes advantage, others she does not. It's worked for us, but the one lesson I've learned is that it's all about communication no matter what. If you're talking effectively, you can help each other. I like that you're seeing this as an extreme reaction to stress and not jumping into the, my wife is evil. It's pretty concerning though, something needs to give. Can you consider scheduling a planning session with your wife to relieve the burden? She's overwhelmed, fed up, miserable, and exhausted. It'll pass, but giving her the support she needs will make this a better or worse experience. Sit her down when the wee baby is sleeping and say, "What is it? What do you need right now to make life easier and more tolerable? More free time alone? More socializing? A better job for now, etc." Try to get some manageable milestones that she can look forward to. Maybe your wife should switch to a 5-day-a-week job that she hates less and you could spend more time at home with the kid. As someone whose mother was not emotionally demonstrative at all and only seemed to start to like me when I was around 19, I noticed as a child. That's not a good thing. My girlfriend of about 5 months has a core group of about 15 to 20 people that all hang out together. In this group, she's been intimate with 5 of the guys all within the last 2 years. All were multiple-time occurrences. I'm having a hard time dealing with it since she's constantly around them, i.e., they're all on a volleyball team that plays every week, are all in group text chats together for coordinating events, and are at every party or larger gathering together. Likewise, I'm constantly around them when attending these functions. For example, her friend group is renting 2 boats next month on the lake, and 4 of the roughly 15 people on the boats will be friends she slept with. I'm also going. I'm dreading going on this boat, but these people are very ingrained in her friend group, so I can't just not be around them. We've talked about it and she says she doesn't see them in this sexual way anymore. I do tend to believe her. The issue is that I constantly think about the fact she used to be intimate with these people when they are around. Honestly, it's giving me a ton of anxiety. I'm thinking about it even when I'm not around them or she's not around them, and it's been really hard for me. In my head, I'm thinking about the fact that they've been naked together, sexually intimate, etc. We both have pretty sexually active pasts. That doesn't bother me. I don't know how many men she slept with. I've met non-friend ex-partners of hers by happenstance bumping into them in the city where she just says, "Hi, how are you?" and that's it. And it doesn't bother me at all. The proximity and the fact that they're in her immediate friend group is what's difficult. Part of me wants to end the relationship because I don't want to be in close proximity of my girlfriend's ex-sex partners all the time. But at the same time, I'm growing to love her and everything else has been amazing. I don't want to feel like this anymore, and I'm hopeful that maybe I don't have to with time. But I really don't know. Is this strange to you? Would you be uncomfortable as well? Should I stay with her and tough it out or split up now to spare the pain? Any ideas on what I or we can do to get over this anxiety and discomfort? Now for some comments. I think a lot of people are going to tell you the past is the past, she's with you now. And that's generally good advice, and that's how it feels to her. To her, it's going to be like, "Oh yeah, we had some fun a while back, but that's all it was, and it means nothing to me now. I look at them and I don't want to do it. They're just friends." And that's cool. But if it gives you overwhelming dread, then you have a real issue, because it sounds like this is a close friend activity group and she isn't going to just drop them. Basically, you have feelings about a situation with your girlfriend. The situation isn't going to change, so you need to either change your feelings or not be with your girlfriend. It's kind of that simple. It doesn't matter who is in the right or who is in the wrong. You feel one way and she feels another way. If you don't like the situation you're in, you always have 3 options. First, you change it. Both of you stop hanging out with these men. Second, remove yourself from the situation by leaving her. Third, accept the situation completely. If it's messing with your mental health that much and she's not willing to change or do something about it, then you'll be better off leaving. Honestly, I'd move on. It's only been 5 months and you're a wreck already. For your own peace of mind, move on before it gets too hard. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments below. If you like these stories, please consider subscribing. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next Reddit story. In the meantime, please take care of yourself. Bye for now.